Welcome to another very interesting lecture on meat science. Today's topic is making meat emulsion or meat batter. This is to some extent more on practical aspect. I am going to explain step by step how meat emulsion or meat batter is made. In earlier long back in a lecture I have explained about the preparation of comminuted meat products. So there we have briefly explained the preparation of meat emulsion or batter. Today exclusively I am going to discuss about the procedure for making the meat emulsion or batter. Then this batter is used for making different kind of comminuted meat products like sausages, nuggets, patties or meatballs. So each of these product I am going to discuss separately in exclusive separate classes. But for all these product the basic steps are same, only there can be some differences in the recipe and ingredients and some of the machineries. First, let us see the recipe or formulation. In this table, we can see the common formulation for most of the comminuted meat products like sausages, nuggets, patties or balls. But this recipe will be partially modified for different products and as per the other necessities. So here we can see the meat is 85% and fat or vegetable oil is 15%. So these together it makes 100. So if we take 850 gram meat, we need to take 150 ml or gram fat, and that makes 1 kg. So we can have a minimum batch of 10 kg. In that case, we should have 8.5 kg meat and 1.5 kg fat or oil. Now in addition, we need to have other ingredients like salt 1.75%, which makes 17.5 gram for 1 kg, sugar 1%, alkaline phosphate 0.4%, dry spice mix. It contains many things together, that is 1.5%, which will have like the aniseed or the garam masala and like cinnamon, cardamom and turmeric, many all such things. And then in addition we can have chili powder 0.25%, that is generally Kashmiri chili powder we prefer, which gives red color, nice, attractive. And then ginger powder 0.25%. Then green condiments, which contains mainly onion and garlic paste 3%, maida as binder, we can take many other thing as binder, and chilled water around 12%. Here we can see all the ingredients for making the sausage batter or meat batter or emulsion at a glance. So main thing is the minced meat. In addition, we need to have the curing ingredients mixed together, that is salt, sugar and phosphate. We have green condiments like onion and garlic paste. We have the oil, we have the maida as binder, and we have the spice mixes, which includes the the Kashmiri chili powder and the dry ginger, and we have the chilled ice or broken ice, which is used for as a added water and also for cooling the machine. Here I will explain the flow of operation. So first we should have the frozen meat, and then in case of small scale operation like 5 to 10 kg, we can thaw the meat partially and separate them with the help of a knife. But in case of industrial operation in large scale or regular operations, we need not go for thawing. We can cut the frozen meat by using the meat cutting band saw. In case of small scale, after separating the frozen meat into pieces, we have to place it into the mincing machine or meat mincer. So that makes the small particles, and after that it will be placed into the bowl chopper for further cutting or further fine cutting and mixing with other ingredients. So now the minced meat is placed in the bowl chopper Along with that, first we have to put the curing ingredients like salt, sugar, and alkaline phosphate as per the requirement in the in the formulation, and also the chilled water, the required chilled water will be placed. Now this machine will be run for at least 1 minute in case of chicken. In case of other red meat or beef or pork, we can give even up to 2 to 3 minutes. So in this case, the machine will be doing the silent cutting or fine cutting with the help of blades, and along with that it will be moving horizontally. So the blades will be cutting vertically and the bowl will be moving horizontally. So there is both cutting and mixing happens, and because of the high mechanical force with the presence of water and the curing ingredients, that will extract the salt soluble protein. So all the salt soluble proteins will be extracted from the meat along with water and curing ingredients, and because of the fine chopping it makes a slurry. So this slurry act as the continuous phase to make a emulsion. So the continuous phase is ready for the next step. Now the fat or oil, if it is animal fat, we have to mince it nicely in a fine particles through the mincer, or if we use oil it is more easy. So now the oil will be added in the bowl chopper, and then this continuous phase will capture this oil and makes a batter or emulsion. So the fat particles or the droplets are uniformly distributed throughout this slurry that is extracted from the meat, and that makes a meat emulsion. After that we can add anything and this emulsion will hold it. So first the onion and garlic paste is added, and then maida is added as a binder, and then spice mix which I have told earlier is added. So they are added in each separate phases by giving 15, 20, 30-second time, and finally we can get the batter or meat emulsion. This is the first machine I am going to show. This is called meat cutting band saw. It is almost similar like the saw used in sawmill for wood slicing. So this machine is used for cutting the sheep, goat or pig or beef carcasses, to cut them, especially in sheep, goat and pig, and in other big cuts from the beef can be cut. This is useful for cutting the meat with bones and making the large cuts, and this is also useful for cutting the frozen meat. So in the next video we are going to see a machine under operation supplied from the Dadox. This particular machine is from KT. There are several other companies. Here is the another machine, we can call it meat cutter or meat shredder. Here this machine is used for shredding the frozen large bulk of meat, the large packets of frozen meat which can be shredded into pieces. Then this can be used either for mincing purposes or it can be used for making the restructured meat products. We are going to see a video next about the operation of this meat cutter machine. Here we can see a meat mincer in working condition. So the frozen meat, in case of small scale, they are separated with knife. In case of large scale, they are cut with the meat cutting bandsaw or another different kind of machines for slicing the frozen meat. After that, they are placed into the mincer for grinding. Now we will see about meat mincer or meat grinder. This particular machine is very common and important for making comminuted meat products. So comminuted meat products means they are first grinded and then they are made into emulsion or sometime coarse emulsion. So this machine is one of the essential requirement. This is coming in different shape and size prepared by many companies. In this picture we are seeing a machine prepared from the Mado in Germany. Most of the European countries there are very good machines of meat mincing. We are going to see the video of some such machines.
TX 114 compact. Nous avons conçu ce hachoir pour de grosses productions. Il débite 25 à 30 kg de viande par minute. La trémie de 50 litres peut contenir plus de 50 kg de viande. L'accès entre le plateau et la grille de sécurité est important, ce qui permet d'engager de gros morceaux. La grille peut se pivoter pour faciliter le nettoyage. Elle est protégée par un contact de sécurité. Le capot avant est aussi protégé par un contact, de manière à mettre la machine en sécurité quand l'opérateur monte et démonte la machine. Toutes les pièces se démontent facilement pour faciliter le nettoyage. Le carter est monobloc, avec des arrondis partout et sans angle difficile à nettoyer. Il est étanche et peut être nettoyé au jet.
This is a large capacity meat grinding machine from Dedox company of France, which we could see the operations here. Here we are seeing another most important machine for making the comminuted meat products, particularly for fine grinding and also for making the meat emulsion. So for making the comminuted meat products, generally we make emulsion. Sometime without emulsion also we can mix everything and make comminuted meat products. So this machine, which we call bowl chopper or sometimes silent cutter, it has got very sharp blade. It has a bowl which moves horizontally and the blades move vertically. So there is a two-way action. So there is a very fine chopping of the meat at initial stage, Later, it is used for mixing other ingredients like fat or binders, extenders, spices, etc. So these details we have discussed in my earlier lecture, how to make comminuted meat products. Here I am focusing only about the machines and how it works. So we are going to see some of these details in other pictures also. Here we can see that minced meat or ground meat, after mincing they are placed into the bowl chopper. As I told earlier, first the minced meat is kept in the bowl chopper, then the curing ingredients like salt, sugar, phosphate and the chilled ice is placed over it, and then the machine is run for chopping. So which is shown in several other steps into the subsequent part of this. Here we can see that the curing ingredients, that is salt, sugar and phosphate, is being added over the minced meat into the bowl chopper. We can see that the blades in the vertically, which plays important role for fine cutting of the meat. Here we can see that ice chilled water or broken ice is added over the minced meat in the bowl chopper, where already the curing ingredients are added, and after this the machine first started with slow speed and then at high speed, and at this high speed we need to chop it for 1 to 2 minutes. In case of broiler meat is 1 minute is enough. In case of red meat it can be 2 to 3 minutes to extract the proteins from the meat, as I have explained earlier. This is the first phase of operation for making the meat emulsion. So initially meat is to be ground or minced, then it is kept in the bowl, and over that the salt, sugar, phosphate, all curing ingredients are added along with water, and then it is chopped and mixed nicely to prepare a slurry or matrix for the next stage for adding fat and making the emulsion. This is the second step, where the meat is nicely chopped along with water and salt, sugar, phosphate, and a slurry is made. Over that the minced fat is added. Now it will be thoroughly and nicely mixed with fine cutting, and that makes a kind of meat emulsion or a batter. Here we can see that after the first phase of extraction of protein and making the slurry, the oil is being added into the bowl chopper in a slow speed, and slowly the oil will be captured by this slurry, and we have to run it at high speed for about 30 seconds. But sometime if the quantity is more, or in case of red meat we can go up to 1 minute or 1.5 minutes. So in this process the oil will be captured by the emulsion, that is the continuous phase will capture this oil, and it makes a oil in water type of emulsion. Here we can see the final mix after the fat is mixed with the ground meat, and it makes a kind of emulsion which will become more white in color. After this we can add other spices and condiments and run for one more phase to get the final batter, and that batter is used for making different kind of meat products. Either it could be patties or nuggets or sausages. So that phase is called shaping or forming, and it can be done manually or machines. There are different kind of machines for patty forming, or machines for nugget forming, or machine for sausage forming, which we are going to see later. Here we can see the additives that is added in the third phase. In the first phase the proteins are extracted with curing ingredients and chilled water to get a slurry. In the second phase the fat or oil is mixed to get the meat emulsion, and in the third phase different additives can be added like green condiments, dry spices and binder. So you can see in the picture. So in the third phase all these additives are added one by one. So first the green condiments are added by running the machine at a slow speed, and then the binder is added at a slow speed, and then the spice mix is added at a slow speed. So altogether all these three ingredients can be added first, and then we can run the machine at a high speed. So in case of broiler meat, around 15 seconds should be enough, whereas in case of other red meat we can run it for 30 seconds to 1 minute to thoroughly mix everything and finally to get a batter. So here we can see the final batter which is taken out from the bowl chopper after all the mixing and is done, and a final batter is obtained. Now this batter is the basic material for making different kind of comminuted meat products. So this can be used for making patties or balls or sausages or nuggets, but only thing, the formulations and the processing steps can be slightly different for different products. So here mainly I wanted to explain the basic process for making the batter or emulsion. Then separately I am going to discuss for each products along with their differences in making the batter. So now we are at the end of today's lecture. Today our main objective was to explain the preparation of meat emulsion or meat batter, which is used for making comminuted meat products like meatballs or meat patties or meat sausages or meat nuggets. So basic procedure, a common formulation, and the common machinery is required here I have explained. So we can use a meat cutting bandsaw to cut the frozen meat. Then we can use a meat mincer or grinder to cutting the meat, and then finally a bowl chopper or a silent cutter is used both for cutting and mixing. So minced meat is used, then the proteins are extracted with curing ingredients and chilled water. After that a slurry is obtained, and then the fat or oil is added and mixed with the machine to make a meat emulsion. And at the third phase the other additives like condiments or other flavoring agents, the binder and the spices, everything is mixed together, and finally we get a batter, and that batter is used for making all kind of comminuted products. So hope everything will be understood easily. Thank you for listening.